Prophet took Shahada from them and sat with them. After swearing an oath, he would mutilate 70. See, because that's not your business. And if you have that hatred or animosity in your heart, you're missing something very important about Allah's creation. So, looking at people with compassion, recognize, and I'll tell you another very interesting thing. A lot of Muslims don't know this. I believe it's the opinion that makes most sense to me, and because it's from an Imam and a Mujtahid, it's a valid opinion. It's the opinion of Imam al-Ghazali in Faisal al-Tafriqa, which is a book he wrote. He categorizes non-Muslims into 3 categories and places 2 of them in paradise. So you think about that. He says that non-Muslims fall into 3 categories. The first category are those who live under the justice of Islam and see the beauty of Islam and see the truth of Islam and reject it. And he said those people are for the hell. Or they live near the lands of Islam and know the benefit of Islam. Because in those days, Hungarians used to flee Christian rule to live in the Ottoman Empire. Hungarian Christians, and this is all documented because there were no taxes, because they were treated, there was upward mobility, which did not exist in the Muslim world. Some of the greatest Ottoman sailors were not Turks, they were Greeks that fled the Greek navies because there was an upward mobility in the Ottoman Navy. You could actually move up. In the Greek Navy, if you were a man that just rowed the oars, that was your life. Because only aristocrats got into positions of authority. In the Ottoman Empire, it was a meritocracy. So if you showed that you had leadership qualities, if you showed that you had ability, you were upwardly mobile. Murad Rais is a Scottish man who became an admiral in the Ottoman Empire. He was a Scottish man. He's what they call renegados, because in Britain, a lot of the Scots and the Irish, they used to, because there was no upward mobility in England. If you weren't born into the sacred caste of the Brahmins, or if you were a Shudra, stuck at being an untouchable, right, the Dalits, I mean, that was it. That's the way most of the world was. If you were born into a bricklayer's house, you were a bricklayer whether you liked it or not. Irrespective of your abilities, and that brilliant people are sons of bricklayers. Allah puts genius in very strange places. So in a meritocracy, you're allowed to be upwardly mobile, which is often what the Ottoman Empire was. So the second category are people who live far away from the lands of Islam and have never heard anything about Islam. And that's the dominant Maturidi and Ash'ari opinion about those people. They're Ahl al-Fatra, they have the same hukum as the people between messengers, like the Arabs before Islam. That's the dominant opinion. There are other opinions, but that's the dominant opinion. And because Ibn Rushd says, when you're talking about the rahmah of Allah, always try to expand it. Don't try to constrict it. He said it's the nature of rahmah. He said the womb, right, expands. Doesn't contract. It expands in order to accommodate the growth of the fetus. See, we want to contract it. That's called abortion. So that's the nature of rahmat. It expands to accommodate. And that is why the Muslims always, because they know what hell is. A lot of people don't know what hell is. And that's why there's so many people that are so quick to put people in hell. Because if you knew what it was, you wouldn't want your worst enemy to go to hell. If you knew what it was. But there are people who don't know what it is. So they just want to send everybody there. The guy that raised his rent, go to hell. The second category are people that never heard it. The third category are people that have been taught since they were little that there was an imposter in the Arabian Peninsula named Muhammad ibn Abdullah, and he lied and claimed he was a prophet, and they're all terrorists, and they're this and they're that, and that's what they've heard. Imam al-Ghazali said these people have blocks to the truth because they were already indoctrinated. And we know the power of this in modern psychology. You see, the power of what happens when you're a child. When the Prophet emerged in the Arabian Peninsula, those people actually had the opposite. They only had positive opinions of him. The Quraysh only knew good from him. If you go to a people and all you hear since you're little is that this is a lie, like Maronite Christians, are taught since they're little children, you know, that this is an evil religion, it's an evil man, it's an evil. And many Jewish people grow up with that as well. That Islam is bad, Islam is this or that. So that creates blockages from the truth. And Imam al-Ghazali said that he felt that because it was presented to them in a distorted fashion, they would not be held account for it. And he said, I hope that. Arju dharika. You know, in other words, that to him seemed most consistent with divine justice. So when you look at people out there, you know, you should look with the eye of mercy. I mean, that's how, if you want to be effective. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يَغْفِرُ أَن يُشْرَكَ بِهِ وَيَغْفِرُ مَا دُونَ ذَلِكَ لِمَنْ يَشَاءُ. God does not forget that you associate with Him. He forgives whatever He wants after that. Whatever He wants. And that's an important verse to remember. Now, the other thing important to remember is, according to our dominant theologians, shirk that you are taken to account for is shirk that has been made clear to you. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَلَا تَجْعَلُوا لِلَّهِ أَنْدَادًا وَأَنْتُمْ تَعْلَمُونَ. Don't associate with God once you know. And that's why when a man came to the Prophet ﷺ, he said, مَا شَاءَ اللَّهُ وَشِئْتَ يَا رَسُولَ اللَّهِ. In Ibn Majah, and it's also in Tabrani, he said, مَا شَاءَ اللَّهُ وَشِئْتَ يَا رَسُولَ اللَّهِ. Allah willed and you willed. Now, technically that's like shirk, but the Prophet didn't say, أنت كافر, أنت mushrik. He said, قُلْ مَا شَاءَ اللَّهُ ثُمَّ شَاءَ مُحَمَّدٍ. Allah willed and then Muhammad willed. You see, He taught him how to remove that dangerous waw al-atifa there, because it's for musharaka, it puts them at the same level. So that's something very important for people to recognize. That, and it is haram in Sharia. According to Qadi Abu Bakr ibn al-Arabi in Ahkam al-Quran, he said it is prohibited to make dua against any specific individual, because you don't know their khatima. Whereas you can make dua against enemies that are attacking Muslims. It's permissible to Allahumma ahzim jiyushahum, Allahumma afsid ra'yahum, Allahumma khayyib sa'yahum. I mean, the Prophet ﷺ made dua for people to lose battles and things like that, because they were persecuting. وَالْفِتْنَةُ أَكْبَرُ مِنَ الْقَتْلِ. Persecution is worse than killing. أَشَدُّ مِنَ الْقَتْلِ. So making dua against individuals specifically is not something that you should do. And the few hadiths in which the Prophet specifically mentioned individuals is from his khasa'is. It's considered to be unique to the Prophet ﷺ, because he knew some people he was told. And there's a hadith in the Jariyah, one of the girls was singing, وَفِينَا نَبِيٌّ يَعْلُمُ مَا فِي غَدٍ. We have a prophet who knows what's going to happen tomorrow. And the Prophet ﷺ said, لا تقولي هكذا وقولي ما كنت تقولي. Don't say that, just say what you were saying before. Because she said, and we have a prophet that knows what happens tomorrow. So the Prophet didn't say, أنت مشركة حرام عليكي. And I mean, we've got all these Muslims out there that are ready to turn 90% of the Muslims into mushrikeen. Like the man, this American man became Muslim with this man from a certain city in a certain Muslim country. And he said, you know, brother, the religion is good advice, and I have to tell you, all the Muslims are going to hell except the ones from my country. And then he said, and even in my country, all the Westerners are going to hell. It's just the Easterners that are going to heaven. He said, even in the Eastern province, they're all going to hell too, except my city. He said, even in my city, we have all these people that came from other countries, ruined people's understanding. They're all going to hell too. He said, it's just my mosque. It's called Masjid Sabr. They're the only ones going to heaven. And even in that mosque, unfortunately, it's just me and the imam. And I have to warn you, I'm worried about the imam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.